representing online. Still, like we said this week, we are simplifying the so-called hard scenarios. We are doing our best to simplify those topics you covered, but you don't know with an application. So what we are doing this week, we said we shall look at the different items. We shall look at the items, propose responses, not giving final responses, but proposing responses on which you can build yours to, with the purpose of at least drawing you close to the board of the requirements of the curriculum. Teacher Alan, we said if you're not part of Muto Online, our WhatsApp contact for the administration is 0703 278 231. That is the contact. When you reach us, we shall always add you wherever we need you in the platforms. We are planning a very big thing, time to come. And all our target is to simplify the academics, the new curriculum. We are here to go through a certain item, and strictly this item is about, it is a section item, paper 1 chemistry. This item is about food additives. It is a very simple item, and I know for those who have been following us, these items are now simpler to you all. So we said, the further we simplify something, or the further you understand something, the further that something becomes simpler to you, and the easier you apply it. So this item goes, on his birthday, John decided to prepare a meal for his parents. The mother credited him that the food has the food was nice looking and also had a nice and attractive aroma. However, his dad replied to him that the food was tasteless and the soup was so dilute. John thought he had done everything. He has approached you for help. As a chemistry learner in the TASEC, you are required to explain to John which products he had, Roman 1, added to the food. Roman 2, not added to the food. Part B, the suitability of the product. And part C, the challenges associated with the repeated use of the product. So when we look at the scenario, we only identify the key things. John prepared a meal, but the meal prepared by John was credited by the mother that it was nice looking. So this drives us to a certain food additive. The mother also said that the food has a nice and attractive aroma. However, the dad said that the soup was so dilute and at the same time, the food was tasteless. When we look at the scenario, those are the key things we are going to look at so as to respond to these scenarios. So I think we are good to go. We said we don't cram, we understand the concept. And we said the only good thing about these things, you can pause, you can forward, you can rewind, you can forward so that you can watch whatever you want. So this was John's birthday. The meal he prepared was for sure nice looking, according to the mother. And the mother also said that the food had a nice and attractive aroma. But the father said the soup was so dilute and the food was tasteless. So part A, the examiner is asking is stating that John has approached you as someone with knowledge of chemistry about this topic. Can you help John to know which products were added, which products he added to the food? So according to the scenario, John added, when we look at the scenario, added dyeing agents, you also give the reason, don't end there with an example because they told you to explain. So dyeing agents, since the food was nice looking. So you connect your response to the scenario. John had added dyeing agents in paragraphs. Dyeing agents since the food was nice looking. This is the reason why this is an evidence that John had added dyeing agents. You can go on and give an example of such dyeing agents. For example, the azo compounds. We know among the dyeing agents that are commonly known as food additives, we have what we call azo compounds and phenyl compounds. They are good food additives. They are good at improving the appearance of food. So you can go on and give the phenyl compounds. He also added what? When we go to the scenario, according to the mother, she also said that the food had a nice and attractive aroma added, and the aroma is enhanced or improved by food additives we call flavoring agents. The flavoring agents, they are the food additives that enhance and improve aroma of food. So the item is about food additives. But as you respond to this item, only focus on what is given in the scenario. For you to be relevant, they always give this score of relevancy. For you to be relevant, yes, you may know a number of food additives, but to be relevant, only talk about the products that we are mentioned in the scenario. They are the only ones you are to build on, but reflecting to the tasks given. So, John had added flavoring agents since the food had nice and attractive aroma. You can go on and give some examples of such flavoring agents that improve the aroma of food. We know them. We know the garlic. The garlic itself improves the aroma of food, the onions. We are giving products that actually enhance and improve the aroma of food. So basing on Roman 1 of the tasks given, where they are told us, explain to John which product he had added, I think those fit to be the responses. Then Roman 2, they are telling us to explain to John which products he forgot to add to the food. The products he did not add, or he had not added to the food. When you go to the scenario, that the products that were not added by John were reflected by the Father. So, according to the Father, the food lacked. We are going to give, we are connecting, we are introducing the response with this statement so that we can connect it to the scenario. So the only thing, or the only statement that is reflecting this was according to the Father's statements. What the food lacked were mentioned by the Father. So the food lacked sweetening agents. Since the food was tasteless, you can go on and give examples of sweetening agents. For example, salt. Salt is a sweetening agent. If it is really food, if it was a beverage, the sweetening agent would have been sugar. You can talk of other sweetening agents, so long as they improve or they enhance and improve taste of food. Still, according to the scenario, the Father said that the soup was too dilute. So the food additive that improve the viscosity of food, especially soup, are the ones we call thickening agents. So the food also lacked thickening agents that would improve the viscosity of soup. You can go on and give examples of these thickening agents. You can talk of you can go on and give the likes of wheat flour or the starch powders. You can go on and give pectin. The thickening agents you've ever heard about. So you can alternatively call the thickening agents, you can alternatively call them gelling agents. The gelling agents, they all improve the viscosity of food. You know, you remember the examples. We cannot finish them. So according to the examiner, this is all what John wanted to know. It's all what John wanted to know. And on part A. For part B, they are saying that we give the suitability of such products. The suitabilities of food additives of that kind, they didn't identify which food additive. The suitabilities of food additives, I remember mentioning them in the videos we made about food additives. We made this video about it. So we said they are very stable. Even at extreme temperatures. These food additives retain their properties. When we talk about properties, we talk about both physical and chemical properties. They are usually highly soluble. I'm grateful, I think. So being highly soluble, they can easily dissolve and distribute themselves throughout the food. And I'm very sure by now you can follow these responses well. We can talk about the flavoring agents. They are usually made of highly volatile compounds that can easily sublime to spread throughout air, to spread the aroma. So we can talk about very many properties of these food additives. They do not interact with food to give other compounds. They are additives that are put in food but do not affect the chemical makeup of the food. Let me think I'm clear. So these ones do not interact with the food molecules to change the chemical, makeup. So the food remains with its chemical properties even when we add those food additives. If it was starch, there is no food additive you can add to it to become a protein. So the food will remain with its chemical properties since these food additives do not interact with it to change the properties that are chemical. It may change the physical ones, such as appearance and texture, but it will not change the chemical properties of the food. So I think these are some of the properties that make food additives suitable for use. You can think of more because we said we just give a hint on which you can build on. So we welcome Nakawich Fiona is with us. Nachibuka Mary has joined us. We have Joshua Joel, you're most welcome. Josh JS, you're most welcome. Anita Alma is with us. Maria Kagoda with us. Ethics Pro is with us. Banex Bongan is with us. Timothy is with us. I think they are the ones. So among the examples of thickening agents, Fiona also contributed gelatin as another example. So people, when you get to a paper and you find such a question, for those people who follow our lessons, when you find such questions, don't hesitate to actually totaling them. You get to the paper, only write following the 6 S's we mentioned. Be precise. Learn how to use the other symbols, a comma, a full stop, this colon, and the semicolon. You sit down and look for the meaning of these symbols, like we say. Where can I use? Which words can be excluded when I use these ones, these symbols? Which words can be represented by these symbols? Remember, I said we are here to make these subjects simpler and approachable. Don't forget to subscribe or to invite your friends. It is the only response you can give to us. Don't forget to remind your friends when you go back to schools. Don't stop checking on us. When you go to your computer labs, check on us. Check for updates always. And lastly, part C, NECO assembly. Even in your assemblies, you can share with friends. Have you ever heard about Mto Online? You can even share it to anyone at school. So lastly, we have the challenges associated with the repeated use of such products. I know we have days to go to school. We are counting them on fingers. For those who really appreciate, you can reach us in our group. Maybe you type any kind of notification, what you gained and what you expect to gain when you meet us again in the group when we are done with this lesson. What you need us to do next holiday and what you've got from this holiday's lessons. So I wanted that part C to be contributed by you members. I want it. Nachito Sanya is with us. You're most welcome. Mugisa Kevin is also with us. Most welcome. Better late than never. Mugisa and Sanya, the good thing about these lessons, you can pause and forward. That is the scenario we are going through, and that is the parts we are talking about. For those who have just joined, you can take a snap of the Timothy is asking, are we going to look at electrolysis? Yes. How many are seconding we have a lesson on electrolysis? We can probably schedule it tomorrow. We can prepare about it and talk about it briefly. So I've also seen Alma, Livingston Alma. Alma is late. Sorry, Alma, but you must come. Members, challenges. Timothy is giving us trigger diabetes. We said we build a point. Build the point from the roots to the tip or the toppest leaf in the bud. Please, we need a build point. How can we build on that one? So we can talk about it. Too much sweeteners triggers symptoms of diabetes. They always trigger symptoms of diabetes. And what can be the impact of this one, of triggering symptoms of diabetes? Members, I wanted the contributions from you. So Bongan needs some practical lessons. We made some when you go to our platform on YouTube. There are some practical lessons. So triggers, you build this point more, triggering the symptoms of diabetes. You talk about the mitigation for that. Talk about allergic reactions, triggers allergic reactions by the body, build about it, and give some mitigation for that. Can I find these points well written? At least these 2 points well explained in the WhatsApp group. And so there is someone, Fiona had a point here. The sugar usually increases blood glucose levels, triggering diabetic symptoms and increasing body weight. Very nice. And elevated body weight. You can talk about the allergic reactions. You can talk about elevating the heart beat rates, the side effects for that. That is another side effect. There are some people, when they use some products like the azo compounds and the phenyl compounds, their heartbeat rate increases. This gelatin, we said it is an extract. We talked of gelatin somewhere. It is obtained from bones, the crushed bones. They use the bone powder to make gelatin that they use as a thickening agent. The gelatin is rich in calcium ions. There are some people, when the calcium intake increases, it leads to tachycardia, elevated heartbeat rate. So all of those are side effects of overdependence on such food additives. And many others, people. I don't want to be a dictator. So there is a question here. Food additive quicken the rate of food spoilage. Yes. So Mary, like you've been told that most of the natural food additives fasten the spoilage of food. Like when you use too much of the tomato in soup, is that where the soup spoils faster? So that was a very good point from Mary. Very good. So we can talk about more and more side effects of use of such food additives. Nachito, diabetes. Not always that a diabetic person is obese. This is another impact of overusing sweeteners. So the too much sweeteners, actually the effect could be elevates blood sugar levels, triggering symptoms of diabetes and elevated body weight. So the too much sugar, the too much sweeteners in food, the effect they cause or they bring to the body is elevating blood sugar levels. And the impact of increased blood sugar levels is triggering symptoms of diabetes and sometimes elevating body weight or increasing or leading to obesity. So I think we should note that point that way. And then allergic reactions, talk about the effects and mitigations, and then elevated heartbeat rate. I think if we don't have any other further contribution, we can call it a lesson. Even flavoring agents can do this. That's what someone is stating. That is Fiona. And I think we can accept, we end this discussion of this number here. Let's have more discussions in our WhatsApp group. We are Mto online. Thank you.